Hello, guys.
Hi, guys.
We are making a video to kind of answer what I was originally going to put in my blog post, kind of a Q&A with this guy over here. And we felt like looking through the questions that was given to us and a couple of questions that we added in ourselves, like it was really hard to get it in words to answer like in a blog post. So that's why I'd actually put on Instagram like, would you all rather see a video or a blog post? And everybody to this point has put video. So what that told us is we're here doing the video now.
Yes. And also, thank you guys for the questions. And if you have any more questions, comment below, and we might do another video, part 2, Electric Boogaloo, and then we'll just answer whatever you have for us. So, yeah. So, thank you all.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
So the first question, it's kind of fitting, like, how did you all meet and fall in love? So, Tyler and I worked together when we were in grad school at Radford, and we were both GAs.
We were grad assistants.
GAs, yes.
Basically, GAs, they help professors at the college. We work for them.
So we met and kind of worked in the same department.
Yeah, we did. We were for different professors, but like we were in the same building as each other. Like we would, yeah.
So we would see each other. We had classes together, that sort of thing. So we were definitely around each other. And given like recent events in our life, like we were just trying to focus on grad school, focus on ourselves. I had recently been diagnosed with Crohn's disease and just a lot of change, I think, in both of our lives. So we were very focused on work, very focused on school. So then when we kind of, he's making a face.
I was focused on work in grad school. And then it was a thing where...
Let's just air this out.
It's a thing. It's so weird because Becky and I have very rarely, until like we got married, we were not on the same page in a lot of steps in us falling in love and getting married. Because, for example, I had just gotten out of a rougher relationship. And I was not really into dating at the time. And then she asked me out.
I did.
And I said, now's not a really good time. Now's just not good. And
well, he gave mixed signals. He would like always come. Yeah, let's just air it all out. If we're going to say that I asked you out, like he was flirty and whatever. Moving on, but yes, I asked him out.
You know another word for flirty is, Becky?
What?
Being nice.
Oh my gosh.
That's another word for being nice to people.
Moving on. So then we were at work and he was like, "Hey, do you want to hang out later?" And I was like, sure, whatever. We can hang out. And it wasn't abnormal. Like we had become friends. We were friends for how many months?
Like 2 months.
3 months.
2 months, yeah.
And he had actually, someone in our department had gotten like flowers, and this is actually really sweet. A flower had like broken off and like fallen to the floor from that bouquet. And he came in like holding this like rose stem and was like, "Hey, this is for you." And I was like, "Oh." And keep in mind, he had already told me like, "Hey, I'm not dating right now, whatever." So I was like, okay.
I will admit that was a mixed signal. I will defend it to the death that I was not saying mixed signals. That was definitely a mixed signal.
Yeah. So we were just hanging out like normal, and then he asked me out. And then we went out like a week later. We went and got Mexican, and it was just so natural, like being friends first, and like so relaxed.
Because like we would talk all the time. Because I was part of a campus ministry at Radford University, and I would take her there, and we would just hang out, and we would just go do stuff. Like even before we were even wanting to date each other, we just kind of just hung out, and we just were good friends. And I think that's so important because I know when you date somebody first, it's all that awkwardness of like, hey, we don't really know the person, we're trying to get to know each other, but we knew each other at that time, so it was a lot easier.
So that's kind of the foundation of how we started. You can kind of say the rest is history, I guess. I mean, we're married now. So, great dating relationship. It felt like we just like seemed together, like, with our lives, and, just everything everything is not perfect, but it felt perfect because like we were together, and, we like kind of came into each other's lives at the perfect time. So next question. How would you suggest handling conflict in marriage, and how do you all handle it?
I think my answer would be is having complete trust in each other And it's like, for example, there's times when she'll say stuff to me, and then I'll say stuff to her that will hurt the other person's feelings. It just that just happens. It's natural. Like, we're not perfect, and so, but we have that trust that what I say or what she says is not meant to hurt either. It was just a slip of the tongue. Maybe the tone wasn't right. Maybe we just spoke in a more harsh way than we meant to. It's just that trust that that person's not going to hurt me, or like she's not going to say anything that like would purposely hurt me.
We also don't really fight.
We really don't. I mean, I know you might be rolling your eyes now and being like, "Oh, sure, whatever," everyone's fine.
I mean, we have been married, like, it'll be 3 years this summer,
Mm-hmm.
and some people still tell us, "Oh, you all are in the honeymoon phase," and I'm like, I mean, we're definitely, like, we air stuff out. Like, we're not afraid to talk and have those hard conversations, but we never go to bed angry. I know people say that, but truthfully, like, when you are, like, upset with someone and then you go to bed and you go to bed upset, it puts, like, a bad taste in your mouth. And, like, he's my best friend, and, like, I don't like being mad at him. He doesn't like being mad at me. So it really wears on us. Like, if there is a conflict, we just talk about it, and it's all communication. And when people say communication, like, it's great and all when you want to call someone and talk to them, but it's like when it's hard, it's communicating not only in the easy part, but in the hard moments too.
I think the key too is having the conversation before the fight happens. Like,
what do you mean?
I'm so glad you asked, Becky. When I say that is that, like, for example, if something like, for example, if your significant other, or even like you can say your a friend or whoever, if they do something or say something that bothers you, you need to talk to them about that then and there and be like, hey, that kind of bothered me a little bit. Like, hey, that way, like, when you don't say anything, it just builds up and pent up. I think a lot of fights happen because we have all that pent up energy about it, and it like stews inside. And so just talking it out beforehand, and again, going back to that trust and trusting that, like, if I say something to her and being like, hey, you did something that bothered me, she trusts that I'm not saying it to hurt her. It's more like, hey, it legit bothered him. Stuff like that.
Next question. What is something you found to be difficult after marriage, like when we got married, that you didn't expect?
I think definitely I can speak for it is balancing families. I think that's a hard thing. Because, her family lives 2.5 hours away from here, and that's really hard because we want to make sure we go and see them and spend time with them, and it's naturally just the geography is hard. And then with my family, my parents are no longer together, and so it's basically you're having to go between it's basically 3 families, so it's been hard balancing that. Again, communication is really big, and also communicating with the parents too and talking to them as well.
Yeah, because we don't want to feel like that I keep him, like, we want that balance, and it's hard to find that. Difficult in marriage. I don't know. I love our relationship. I mean, that's a good thing because we're married, and you were stuck with me, honey. He didn't even laugh. Oh my gosh. So I don't know. I mean, like, I find that question is hard for me because I'm like, well, I'm one who I like to talk things out, and I like to be with people. So then talking to him and being with him all the time is like living my best life. He's more introverted. So like for him, I'm answering for him, like finding his alone time and like us finding things of our own to focus on. Like, it's like that you're focusing on yourself, like each of us individually, so that when we come together, like that we're focusing on us. It's like, I can't rely on him to be my source of happiness or vice versa. Like, we have to learn how to make ourselves happy individually. So it's like, because both of our lives coming together, being one, it's just like the balance. Next question. Can you remember a specific moment in time when you knew you would end up marrying each other?
That's a hard question. I'm not even sure I really know when. I mean, there's not like, I think when you want to marry somebody, I mean, I think it's just a culmination of small events that have built up and just over time.
I was talking to my mom, and it was like a couple of months after dating, and I was talking to her about Tyler, and I was like, gosh, Mom, I don't know if this relationship doesn't work out, he's ruining me for like any other man. I'm like, he's such a gentleman. He's so nice to me. He treats me so well. Like he treats me like, watch him smirk over here. Like just he treats me exactly how like, and I try to do the same. Like we try to treat each other like with all the respect and the love that I don't know we feel for each other. So I think that was one moment that I was like, I don't want to be apart from him. Like I don't want to not be with him. So to know, it just kind of went from one thing to another. It's like when we entered each other's lives and we knew we didn't want to leave each other's lives, that we knew that being apart was not going to happen. Like once we found each other, we were together. Stuck like glue. It's a song by Sugarland. Yes. Next question. What aspect of marriage were you most pleasantly surprised by?
I think it was more pleasantly surprised. It was more like I was surprised about, because I am a major introvert. Like during this whole quarantine thing, people are struggling. I'm like living my best life, people. I am happy as can be. I have not left the house. I mean, I have everything I need here, so like I'm good to go. I know a lot of people aren't like that, but my fellow introverts, you know what I'm talking about. But I think it's a lot of me being an introvert and also being an only child. The concept was hard, like living with another person and being a partner in that. Because being a partner, it means you're also contributing and you're also being a major like figure in the relationship. And so I thought that I would struggle with that a lot because, again, like you said, giving me some alone time. And also thinking with introverts, alone time isn't just like spatial-wise. Like it could be literally we're in the same room with you, but more like we just need our time to ourselves and let our thoughts kind of beat ourselves. Like she'll read and I play video games. That gives me time to like mentally compress by myself as an introvert. But then I come right back and we're good to go. I think that's what surprised me was like how well I was able to like gel into being in a partnership with somebody.
For the sake of time, we're going to move on to the next question. What is one thing about our marriage that might surprise others? When we say that we don't fight, we really don't fight. We have like disagreements, but we really, why are you making that face?
I'm not, just keep going.
I think that surprises a lot of people when we say that. And it's just like, it's that constant respect for each other. And just keeping us down here because it's so easy to stop talking like this on this level and to get escalated and like to know if you need to walk away, if you need a moment, and just like knowing what each other needs. But if we, people hear like the craziness that we post like sometimes on Instagram or like stuff like that, it might surprise you. We are like that all the time. He does not turn it off. This morning, he had not drank like any caffeine, like tea, because he doesn't drink coffee. Weird. And he was like, I'm so tired. I need to go make tea. And he was just like literally zoned out. And then he went and drank his tea. And he said,
I'm back, baby.
He was like, hey, Mama, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Like, it's constant, like, smiling at each other and being really happy. But it's like that communication and trust and all of that together that gives us that.
Right.
What is one thing each of you all do to the other person to make them feel special?
I'm going to go really deep here and be kind of serious on this one. It's been all fun jokes this entire video.
Oh, it's been fun and jokes?
It's been fun and jokes. I listen to her. I think that's I think if I give them one thing, I listen to her and hear her like struggles and hear her stresses, because I'm not really. I mean, she can tell you. I'll talk about things that stress me out too. Like for me, it's like it's bursts. Like I won't talk about things, but then when I get heated, I get really heated and I start talking about it. But it's not very often. Where hers is more like it's a constant flow of it. It's not like two up here, two down. It's like even. And so just listening to her, because I know I'm someone who is more to myself, but I also know that the way that she deals with stress and the way that she likes to process things is by talking it out and just listening to her. And it's sometimes not even me saying anything at all. It's me just like nodding my head and it's acknowledging what she's saying.
I'll agree with that. You do very well. He is a good listener.
I'm talking about.
I think just acknowledging like his hard work, like appreciating when he like cooks dinner or something, making sure I say thank you, make sure I acknowledge like him going above and beyond for us, or just making sure like, I mean, during this like quarantine time, like him taking care of going to pick up the groceries or doing little things like, oh, by the way, while I was out, I got your medicine, like just being so thoughtful with that. And I think that goes both ways. We try to do that. If he's making breakfast, even if he hasn't told me, like I try to go ahead and make him tea. It's just like constantly trying to think of like the other person while, because it would be easy for me to just go over there and chug my coffee or whatever, but being mindful of like the other person's needs and whatever that may entail. What are some things we do to keep our marriage growing? We love to go on little trips. Yeah. We don't do that very often just because, I mean, it's hard to take days off of school and as a teacher, all the sub plans and sick days that you have to use. And but we love to go on little trips. Recently, we went to a Mercy Me concert in February before everything hit. And it just like, it seems like it recharges us.
It does.
Like, and it's like alone time. We get out of our heads. We get out of like, it's really hard. Like, it's really great, and it's really hard for both of us to be teachers.
Right.
And
you go ahead.
I think we bring a lot of stuff home, and we have a lot, like, talking-wise, and just knowing, like, when to cut it off, and to, like, go have fun, I guess.
Yeah. And my recommendation for, like, couples who are going on, like, vacations together, like, just the two of y'all, I think there is definitely a great thing, like, oh, let's go to Disney World, let's go to Busch Gardens, let's go, like, fun places are great, like going to stuff that's like, there's a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes it's good to go somewhere where there's not a whole lot going on. Like we went to Hot Springs in this past summer, and if you know anything about Hot Springs, Virginia, by the way, anyone who's from there, we love your community. Y'all are fantastic. There's just not a lot out there. You're kind of out there, and there's only a few places to go, but it let us, we were, say, like a B&B, and it's let us bond in the quiet. Like, we were somewhere different, and we were experiencing things, but it wasn't, like, in your face. And sometimes when you're doing all this other crazy vacation stuff, you tend to lose the connection. You're more focused on what you're doing than who you're doing it with.
Yeah, and it's like you're focusing on, like, our relationship. Like, we do it to recharge, to spend time with each other. To go to dinner, you know, there was no cell signal in some places, and, like, so the phones were away. We had to talk, and, like, we never run out of things to talk about. Right. We talk, well, I never run out of things to talk about, if we're being truthful here.
I run out of things to talk about sometimes.
We had one more question, and it came from a student of Tyler's.
Yes.
And it doesn't have really anything to do with relationship, but it's funny.
See, the thing is, like, the pinnacle of, as a teacher, it makes it, man, I'm so thankful kids ask these really deep questions. So the question is water wet? I guess it depends. If you were a fish, I guess you probably wouldn't be able to tell what wetness is. For example, for me, though, yes, water is wet. Want to send that to the science community, let them know. Water is wet.
Well, there you have it, guys. Some little science at the end of this. So, we hope that's a long video. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you all for watching.
Before we get off here, though, Becky, what's the name of your blog? People should look at and read. It's fantastic stuff.
What is the name of it again?
Mine is called Teacher Talk. So if you want to go...
Oh, it's Better Today Than Yesterday.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, go look at our blog, look at mine. I'm probably changing my name sometime soon, which is not going to be very helpful for me giving the name now. But anyway, guys, I'm done. So
okay. Thank you all, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.